The five gates of grief were created by Francis Weller, and they're featured in his book, The Wild Edge of Sorrow, which recently just came out with a re-edition 10 years after the original edition in 2015. It is literally a book that I keep near me at all times, so it is right here. And the five gates of grief offer a contemplation on varying ways in which we can experience and acknowledge the presence of grief. So I'll just go through them briefly, but the first gate is everything we love we will lose, which we kind of touched on. So just the acknowledgement that the things that we care about most we will lose. The places that have not known love, so grieving where and when there may be moments where we didn't receive care and support that we otherwise would have really appreciated, or as adults we look back to childhood and realize that we maybe didn't get what we could have really benefited from. The third is the sorrows of the world, so kind of like what we're talking about, what's happening in the world around us on a larger scale and in places that aren't in our immediate vicinity. Fourth is what we expected and did not receive. Kind of similar to that second one, the grief of what we wish we had experienced or what we wish we had, because there's a sense that it might have changed the course of our life. But that one I always think about if I had been raised in martial arts versus coming into martial arts in my 30s. And then the fifth one is ancestral grief. Just the recognition that grief moves through generations, and some of us are carrying grief through long lines of ancestors that have felt that grief for a long time. And I think, that's deeply embedded in so much of what we're experiencing in the world right now as well, deep ancestral grief. And those are the five gates of grief written by Francis Weller. But the sixth one that I add was added by my partner, and it feels really important, which is the gate on the other side of grief, which is just the acknowledgement that as we navigate grief, we then have to move forward with living. So it's not about just living in the grief and kind of having that process with you all the time. There's a point at which you've grieved the thing and you have to set it down, which can kind of be a challenging piece as well.